People. Joel Benjamin 528 here, aka Big Money Benjamin, aka MC Spookism. Salute to the international audience. Salute to the domestic. Well, y'all will be getting a back-to-back show. Let me say that from now. So all those who are tuning in, you might want to get your pens and papers and get ready for this information that's coming to you, because as always, as we know, I am the source. So today's show, we're going to talk about an extremely rare super blue moon that is coming up. All right, and it's around Saturn. This is going to happen around August 30th. Around this time, this is when the moon is the biggest and brightest in the sky. Also Saturn. Now, this is also tied in to finances. Remember the last live stream I did? And since earlier this year, since around January, I've been telling you around September and October, look for big financial crisis and stuff to come. Now, everybody's all hyped up about BRICS. And I showed some stuff in the last live stream that most people didn't know. Now I'm about to show you more. I'm going to let this guy break it down because I haven't heard nobody put it down like that before. If you never heard of Goldman Sachs, all right, Goldman Sachs is one of those that started BRICS. Or pushed for it. As a matter of fact, let me not get into it. Just take a listen to this.
Okay.
Let me know if you can hear it, people. Let me know if you can hear it.
Okay. I don't want to be negative or sort of dampen the collective enthusiasm that people have these days about the alleged emerging multipolarity in the world, but I think we sort of need a bit of a reality check. What we're seeing with the BRICS project, with multiple countries applying for or are interested in joining BRICS, and the talk about creating an alternative currency for trade between BRICS members and so on. I think we need to realize that this is not a phenomenon that is ambushing the U.S. or the West. Many people, regular people, may not be aware of this, though it's not secret information by any means. Both the concept of BRICS and the term BRICS was launched by Goldman Sachs some 20 years ago. Goldman Sachs. There was a man named Jim O'Neill, who was the chief of Goldman Sachs back in 2001. And he coined the term BRICS and somewhat arbitrarily grouped Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and later South Africa together, because he predicted that, largely because of the demographics, that these economies would grow and overtake the G7 in importance within the next 40 years. He believed that globalization could not sustainably continue to be American dominated, because basically that was just too politically messy and too blatantly imperialistic. So Goldman Sachs created the idea of BRICS and marketed it as a brand, so much so that they even tried to trademark the word BRICS. So investment firms across the US and Europe, they bought the marketing, they bought the hype. And, BRICS investment funds were popping up all over the place. And eventually, even the governments of the BRICS nations actually formed a proper bloc. But this is a grouping that was willed into being by investors, by Goldman Sachs, by the private sector, and driven by a belief, which, if understood properly, was that global business had to free itself from Western and American centricity. The owners and controllers of global financialized capital outgrew the confines of patriotism. Company logos replaced national flags. So this project has been decades in the making. This shift has been planned for nearly half my lifetime. And it has been planned by the global financial elite. And now that same Jim O'Neill is calling for BRICS to create their own currency. Now, he's retired now, but he's still the voice of Goldman Sachs. So no one who matters is bothered about de-dollarization. This is what I've been saying for months now. Moving away from the dollar is part of the shift of the global economy being undertaken by the owners and controllers of global financialized capital. The destabilization of Europe is a part of that shift as well. Over 130 billion euros of direct investment have exited Germany over just the past year, with only 10 billion coming in. Corporate bankruptcies in Germany are at record highs. The manufacturing part of Europe is deindustrializing. And that's because the OCGFC have determined that Europe no longer holds significant promise in the future of the global economy, meaning that they don't see sustainable profitability for themselves in Europe. And the cold hard reality is they're not wrong. But the colder and harder reality is that they, not the governments of Europe, get to decide that that means that Europe and the people of the West are superfluous. Because your value is determined entirely by your utility to the owners and controllers of global financialized capital. Consider this. Europe's demographic collapse means that your only real remedy, potentially, is to ramp up immigration. Well, depending upon from which country you're talking about, between 40% to 60% of non-European immigrants to the EU are unskilled. So that doesn't actually help you very much. But in a way, it represents, instead of a knowledge transfer, an ignorance transfer from the global south to Europe, removing unskilled, unqualified people from the economies that the OCGFC are focusing on developing, unburdening those economies of their own superfluous citizens. Meanwhile, of course, the presence of immigrants also allows native Europeans to direct their hostility over their own redundance against foreigners, and conflict ensues. The OCGFC see all of you as insignificant. And if all of Europe just turns into a giant cage fight between the white, black, and brown superfluous people, they're fine with that. That can turn a profit. Now, I should mention also that 10 years ago or so, BlackRock was promoting investment in other emerging economies outside of BRICS, namely Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. Now look at those countries now. I mean, Mohammed bin Salman didn't say that the Middle East was going to be the new Europe for nothing. He consults with Goldman Sachs, he consults with BlackRock, he consults with the owners and controllers of global financialized capital. He knows what the plans are, and then he makes his own plans accordingly. I mean, BlackRock controls a subsidiary of Aramco, so they're very close. So the point is, none of this is unsettling. None of this is surprising. None of this is catching the West or America off guard. And none of this represents the emergence of any real multipolarity in the world. It's a logical,
Sorry about that, people.
capitalistically natural transition, largely influenced by demographic trends and by the fact that the West allowed the development of a parallel power structure in the private sector that inevitably surpassed state power and outgrew nationalism. This is why I don't really believe that de-dollarization is going to be meaningfully fought by the US, nor are we likely to see imperialistic wars and occupations of the BRICS nations by the United States. Private sector power has already conquered the US. Their own armed forces are more likely to be used to occupy their own country more than any other country, just to suppress their own populations who are increasingly dispossessed. I mean, think about the fact that the anti-Russian sanctions have actually benefited Russia financially. And not only Russia, India, China, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and others. I mean, FDI into Brazil, for example, is at its highest level since 2015. FDI into South Africa roughly doubled since the start of the Ukraine war. Ukraine has basically been a hinge, pivoting the global economy to the east and to the south. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this shift would not have happened without Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs and the owners and controllers of global financialized capital simply saw the writing on the wall. and took action. They didn't cause the demographic collapse of Europe, but they saw it happening, and they were astute enough to anticipate the ramifications of that, and they came up with a plan B. And the B stands for BRICS.
All right, so I hope y'all got that and took it in. So when I've been telling you for the longest that it's about to go down and it's going to be a problem, most of y'all pretty much ignored the writing on the wall. Your problem is you forgot the teachings, or let me not say teachings, the information that was given to you a while back now. So let's do a bit of a double take. Where do I begin? Hold on, people, bear with me. Because I want to show y'all something. Let's see. Y'all remember when it was coming at Ice Cube a few years ago? Matter of fact, let me start from here before I get into Ice Cube. No, not that one. I want to pull up. Yeah, let me just deal with Ice Cube first. All right. So, all of a sudden, Ice Cube went on a tirade in 2020. All right. Y'all remember these posts that he made? It's right here. And this is all tied in and connected. Don't make no mistake about it. They want to say he posted anti-Semitic memes on Twitter. Not true, but Hebrew Israelite slaves in ancient Egypt, clearly they are a black people. All right, not too bad. Moving on. Then he posted this. Now this is where it gets interesting, because you're going to learn how this ties in with the blue moon of what's going on and how this is all affected on the financial global system. All right. This is Ice Cube. What is so anti-Semitic about this? What happening is Ice Cube was snitching. This is certain knowledge that you are not supposed to know. You see, the six-pointed star, as it's known as, the real term for it is the Shield of David. Okay? And within that, you see how they do the diagram, put the cube. All right. Moving on. Then he posted this. Now, mind you, this was all in 2020. And I'm like, who the hell Ice Cube been watching? And how did he want to get up so knowledgeable on this? Black cube of Saturn. And it showed it one in Santa Ana, the one in Manhattan. Where else? The one in Denmark, and the one in Australia. So now, if we fast forward, or we should rewind. Yeah, let's rewind. Let's go to YouTube. YouTube. Yeah. And let's see here. Let's go to your channel. So now we're on my channel here. I'm trying to find the search box. Videos, lives. Make it difficult for me. It's supposed to have a search box here for me to search my actual channel, but that's all right. I got this. Order of Saturn. That's right, people. Order of Saturn. I see a bunch of videos. Ills of going live. There we go. There we go. You see when this was done? 5 years ago. Me and Brother Divine. Indigo Children and the Order of Saturn. Letting you know that it had a pay-per-view. Not only that, I was making sure I give you the other stuff as well. Look at this. 2 years ago. Double planet alignment, Jupiter and Saturn. So, but you could see I've been clearly talking about Saturn from way back when. So if you don't know, there is a conjunction. Let me just go to the NASA. So the next full moon is a super and a blue moon. Now, if you don't know about the Rakhi Purnima, hope I pronounced that right. This is happening around August 30th, 2023, appearing opposite the sun in the Earth-based longitude at 9:36 p.m. The planet Saturn, just a few days from the closest and brightest for the year, will appear near the moon. This is NASA. I want you to see this. See, just because you don't believe in this stuff doesn't mean they don't. This is a NASA news, okay? This is one of NASA's official website. This will be a supermoon. Nah, forget all that. I want to get to the juicy stuff. Bear with me, people. Here we go. The full moon corresponds with the Hindu festival Raksha Bandhan, also known as Rakhi or Rakhi Purnima, celebrating the bond between brothers and sisters. One of the traditions is for sisters of all ages to tie a Rakhi, a cotton bracelet, around their brother's wrists, receiving a gift from the brother in return as a sign of continuing bond between them. The term Raksha Bandhan translate as the bond of protection, obligation, and care. What is this doing on NASA's website? Huh? Anybody could tell me? Do you understand what I'm showing y'all here? They're not putting this on the website for nothing. But okay, let's continue. Where was I? Goodness gracious. All right. I want to just skip and jump down. You know what? I could read from here. In many traditional lunisolar and lunar calendars, the full moons fall near the middle of the lunar months. The full moon is in the middle of the 7th month of the Chinese calendar, Safar in the Islamic calendar, and Elul in the Hebrew calendar. So now you know we're about to go in on this one right here, right? Elul is a time of preparation. When? A time of preparation for the high holy day of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Customs include gathering and asking others for forgiveness, as well as beginning or ending all letters with the wish that the recipient will have a good year. Why is this on their site, people? This is NASA. This is not Joel Benjamin 528. This is NASA. And this is clearly a big deal. It clearly is. So you have certain powers that be that like to get together, put certain things together, and they do what they do in order to conquer and control. And they do it around the time of these solar, lunar, planetary shifts. Just because you don't believe it does not make it not true. Simple as that. Just because I'm going to say it again. Just because you don't believe it doesn't make it not true. We have to start waking up to the fact that these people are not playing games with us anymore. They wasn't playing before, but now they really turn up the ante. That's why I have a next live stream coming up after this one. Okay? Let me pull this up for you. I want to show you this again. So basically I showed you the 5-year cycle, right? I mean, the 5 years that I've been talking about this. Ice Cube now, and a lot of them want to get up on this around 2020. Really? A bit late to the party, don't you think? So look, this is on my channel. Indigo Children and the Order of Saturn. Are you an indigo child? Indigo children and adults. 5 sign, you're indigo soul. In this one, I am also breaking down the breakdown. I'll just put it like that. So you see, got a history breaking this stuff down for you. I did that on purpose to show you. Now let me see order of black cube. Black cube. So I'm sending you where to go find the videos. Look at this. Indigo Children and the Black Cube Project 5 years ago. Now, you're going to notice certain bankers structure, a lot of scamming is going to go on around this time. JP Morgan Chase won't reimburse customer who lost $30,000 in bank scheme. This is August 25th, 2023. So this is yesterday on the Daily Huddle. Y'all got to be careful. These people are calling your phone, got a lot of your information, and pretending to be Chase. Right? They even showing up with the number, and they creating certain wire frauds and different aspects that's going on. The banks are in trouble, people. I'm going to repeat. The banks are in trouble. You have, if, I don't know what to tell you. If you have a certain amount of money, and I'm talking about a big amount of money, still in the bank, then, yeah, I think I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not even going to touch and go further on that. So now, let me shift gears. Because we're still dealing with the moon, the blue moon that's coming up. Right? Lisa 888 asks, what do we do for the super blue moon? I'm going to get into that in another live stream. What I'm telling you now is what to be careful and what to look out for within the blue moon. Because you see it's happening August 30th. After August is September, then October. All right, time for me to share my screen. So you see in the last live stream that I did, I brought up something called hold on now. Remember I brought up this satanic agenda. These corporations, they're a piece of work, people. I don't think I need to convince anybody of that. So here it is. So you see these dates, right? And what they do for these dates, how they correlate it with inter holidays. You see September here. We went into September, we went into October the last time. It's right here for you to read yourself. Look out for crashing markets around this time. And some people will be affected in their zodiac. I'm going to get to that. Let me see. Does this tie into the system? Yes, it does. And that's why I now post it up. Come on, Lisa. You talking about it's too small? Y'all can't really see that? Come on, yo. How about now? That's the best I could do for you. All right? That's the best you gonna get. Let me take off the ticker so you can see everything there. Y'all screenshot this. Go ahead, take your time, screenshot it. Okay. Anyway, let me continue. So you see, the Jewish set that wears the black cube on their forehead over their third eye, pretty much. Around this time, when dealing with this blue moon, there's going to be certain rituals taking place. There's certain things that you have to get in order financially. I read on the NASA site what it's about, what they're talking about. And this is from NASA. This ain't me. Anytime you have Saturn involved, mind you, this is also happening during Mercury retrograde. So now I got a next live stream coming up after this. Around 3:30. I'm gonna hit you with the next live stream. But I just had to get this out the way to let you know and understand what's going on in the planet. That's why you have everything going on with BRICS. It's all happening around this time. And it's done on purpose. All right. Let me see. Any questions before I wrap it up? Come on, Lisa. Work with me. You said these dates pass. When you go all the way down, you're going to see September and October. Oh, you know what? I got you. I'm going to show this one more again. Okay? Don't focus on this yellow box here. Focus on these right here. From August all the way into October here. Okay? And you can see the type of rituals they do. All right? I shouldn't have to even go over this anymore. So later on, like I said, you're going to get the other live stream. And anyway, any other questions? George Middle, just call me. Me crazy, but you're not. What's up? Okay. Sorry, I joined late. What's the name of the book? There's many books that have it. There's many books that have it. That if you want that information. Thor, you said thanks for the information. You're welcome. Any other questions, people? Look out for the next live that's coming out. Ita says many thanks. You're welcome. Like I said, I just gave you a quick one, just touching on certain things to look out for. So I'm gonna get into this. Because I know the people want the ones with the zodiac. I'm gonna give you that one in a few minutes. I believe I'm just gonna be talking on that one. I'm not gonna put no PowerPoint slide for you. I'm just gonna give it to you quick, raw, and direct. So be ready. Salute to the international audience. Salute to the domestic. Peace.